My narcissistic parents are angry with me for not ignoring my autistic brother's predatory behavior towards my beautiful girlfriend. My brother is 32 years old, he's never had a job, he dropped out of community college after 2 semesters for never doing his assignments, he's lived with my parents his entire life, he sleeps all day, and stays up all night playing video games and watching adult films. Both my brother and I, 27, are diagnosed autistic and present our symptoms similarly, but I've been working since I was 17, got my driver's license at 17, bought my first car at 24 and started college right after finishing high school. My parents constantly use my brother's autism as an excuse for his appalling behavior even though we're both on the spectrum. In November, I moved back in with my parents because I left an abusive relationship and had chronic health issues. Living with them hasn't been the best because my older brother is really weird and my parents coddle him a lot. It's like watching a grown man wearing a diaper and getting fed airplane style. I met my current girlfriend, 23, and we've been together for a year. She's really gorgeous and sweet. Recently, she had some in mid-2021 and in early 2022 she had some extenuating circumstances where my family agreed to let her live with us. My brother was immediately pleased with this development, and behaved inappropriately really quickly. It started off with him creepily staring anytime her and I kissed, which progressed to him following her into the bathroom anytime he saw her go in there for a shower until he figured out she always locked the door because of him, and the straw that broke the camel's back was him trying to come into our bedroom uninvited at 3 a.m. while we slept. Every time he behaved inappropriately we mentioned it to my parents, but all that really happened were excuses made for him because he's autistic and brief conversation with him about not doing those things again, but he still did. Whatever we wanted and my parents didn't care. After the bedroom incident, my parents fully blamed my girlfriend for what happened because my brother went to them to complain that we were being mean. They kicked my girlfriend out, making her homeless for a brief period of time, and she had a PTSD panic attack since my brother made her feel unsafe. As a result of this, my girlfriend and I got an apartment together and I moved out as well because I didn't want to be in the same house as my brother. I was upset with the way my girlfriend was treated, and I wasn't willing to break up with her, which my parents wanted me to do. I had a calm conversation with them explaining why I was moving out, where I explained it's their house so they are more than entitled to make rules concerning their own home. However, I was not going to continue living somewhere my girlfriend wasn't welcome and where my brother's predatory behavior was condoned. At first they told me they love me, they're sorry they ever made me feel that way, they want me to keep a key to the house because I'm always welcome over, and that if I ever needed to move back and I could. I was glad we ended on a good note, considering everything that happened. But several days later, I went over to pick up some more of my things only to find that my parents had changed the locks on the door. Later that same week they tell me they're angry with me for being ungrateful, saying I hate them, and calling them bad parents, none of which I ever said. They went on to tell me that they didn't want to speak to me for a week because they were upset, needed time to process, and because they thought I needed to feel what it was like to be cut out of the family. I respected their wishes and later my parents agreed to family therapy, which they quickly backed out of because they were only willing to do it over a 3-way video call and my therapist wasn't able to do that. I told my parents I would be willing to attend family therapy with a therapist of their choice who could do the 3-way video call, but that had yet to happen. That same Sunday my parents invited me over for dinner, which I thought went well, only to find they would continue to dodge my calls and leave my texts on read after that night. They eventually contacted me and told me to stop using their house as storage and pick up my things, despite requesting that I stay away for a week. My girlfriend and I went over to pick up the rest of our stuff, which wasn't the best idea because my brother kept staring creepily at her and making nasty comments whenever he wanted. My girlfriend was really uncomfortable, but at least it was quick so she didn't have to suffer for too long. Still, my brother needs to stop doing that, especially because she's a lot younger than him. I briefly brought it up to my parents but they told me to just leave because they didn't want to deal with useless drama at the moment. I don't get why they aren't willing to talk about the issues that led to me moving out. They haven't even come over to see our new apartment after being invited over. Because, despite the circumstances, I still love them and want a relationship with them since this type of behavior is highly uncharacteristic of them. Understandably, my girlfriend isn't fond of them but told me she doesn't mind me inviting my parents over because it's important to her that I have a relationship with my parents for the sake of my mental well-being. I just don't know what to do to get them to listen.